This, for example, use this and make all alphabets in this design all the way to Z, just to understand how it works. And otherwise, anything else that you, any other font that you find easy and you can work with, you can use the same format and make it, draw it all the way till Z. Okay. So now here we're going to go all bulky and big. And we are going to learn how to make shadows. Now I will reiterate that this is your skeleton. Okay. So we're going to use this skeleton and make the thick edge. So this is like a normal thick edge with no serif, nothing. Plain boxy alphabet. Okay. I will erase the center line so that you get. I'm sorry if you're getting a lot of ambient noise. It's raining very, very hard. I can't keep that noise out. So we have this alphabet, which is very, very simple. I'm keeping it simple because I want you to understand the shadow that falls. Now, say the light was falling from this side. So our shadow is going to fall on the right hand side. The light is from this, the shadow will fall this side. Okay. So in all, the entire part of the edge, it will all fall on this side. So your shadow will be on the right and bottom. So always remember the shadow can fall this side, but similar in the sense you can't, if you've made the shadow this side, you cannot make the shadow of the other side here. It has to be on the right hand side. It's common sense that it'll all be on falling on one side. So we've got the alphabet. So let's first make the outline. Again, slow and deliberate so that you get a crisp line and they're not too many untidy, jagged lines. Take a deep breath and then make the line. There you go. So we have the shadow, the alphabet as this. The shadow we'll make as slightly opaque. Slightly nahi, matlab opaque, okay? Dark. This, I've kept this alphabet as simple as possible so that you can understand the concept of a shadow. Okay, so your alphabet is plain, and this is how the shadow falls. Now the shadow, if it's falling from the top, this will be coming towards the bottom side and right hand side. Okay, so maybe just to understand it again, we can make the eye also pretty boxy, same simple thing, and we can understand the shadow again. This time we'll just make a slightly different shadow. Okay, but a shadow nevertheless. So you have the top part of the eye, bottom part of the eye, and the center eye. Okay. Let's make the outline. Okay. And then let's make, say the light is coming from this side. So I just want you to understand how it falls or how you can play with it uh, from the top, and your shadow will fall on this side. Okay. So why? Because see, it'll fall on the right, on the left, and slightly towards the bottom. It will not go to the top because it will, if it was coming from this side, then obviously the shadow would go up. I hope that's clear. Now we will keep the top part plain, like in the edge, but we will make the shadow slightly different. How? We will make lines that just, it's just another way of making the shadow. You can do it vice versa also. You can make lines here and you can keep this dark. So it looks good both ways. Okay. So this is our understanding of the shadow. Now this is a plain shadow. A lot of times we can make the shadow, like say we made the shadow here in just a single line, just indicating that there's a shadow here. And again, they all have to be falling on the same side, either top or bottom, left or right, and in all parts of the alphabet. And if you make, say, I'll just show you if I have, yeah. So say, for example, this word, and just straighten it out. So if you can see, the E is actually taken from here. So everywhere, the shadow, even though it's just a single line, is falling on the left-hand side of the alphabet. Okay, left and the bottom. So it doesn't really have to be just on one. If you're making a word, then it will fall on the left and the right. The same thing on all sides, okay, on all the alphabets. So that's how we do the shadows. And we can start off with the J now. I hope everybody, I'll give you a minute to complete this. And if you haven't understood, the subsequent alphabets will make it slightly more easier for you. Now here, I'm going to make it slightly more playful, okay? So supposing all this while we're making absolutely straight. Now, how about we play around with making it more funky? Um, you know, so supposing we just kind of make this like this, a thin line, and then it just curves up. So here, all this while we were doing slightly more staid and simple alphabets. Now we can just play around and make them slightly more fun and, you know, good fun to make. So again, just kind of okay, and just color it. So it's easy. To make it more fun, maybe you can, you know, add something there. You can add 2 lines here. You can add, say, about 3 lines here. So you've just kind of given a little movement. I'll just zoom in a bit so you get an idea. You've given, it's become a little more cartoonish, a little more fun. It's looking as though it's moving. Okay. So that gives it a little bit more random movement and things. So we understood shadow, we understood a little more playfulness of the whole alphabet making. And now we come back to our making more fresh alphabets. Okay, what more styles can you use? So we've done till J. Next we come to K. So again, try and use like approximately the same size. This was 3, 6, and 7. Yeah. Okay, so K. L. M. N. And O. Then here, once we start, I hope everybody's made this K, L, M, N, O. So we still have a few alphabets left, but let's finish this. So here, K, again, we'll make it slightly more playful and fun. We'll keep this as broad. And keep this a little curved. Okay. Just giving a bit of serif here. Okay. And let's start with our outline. If this is kind of looking like an R, so what you can do is, in case, because this is kind of curved in the R shape, so you can make it go up like that. So if it goes up, it wouldn't look so much like an R. Okay, so keep that in mind when you're doing it. There we have. Okay, so I think I'll make this completely black. And I've made a line here, a double line. So it's in relief, it's like 2 white lines inside. Okay, and then a little bit more movement to your K. Okay, so this is your K. A little. So till here we are making. Here on, we're going to try out different alphabets that can add a little more fun character to your lettering. So here, once the K is done, L, how should we make the L? Let's I'm going to make this pretty broad. Or I think what I'm going to do, just erase this. I will make it, like say it was made of wood. Okay, let's try the wood texture. So we will make a boxy L, right? We made this like the L that like we have an H over here. Now we're going to be making it, giving it a slight 3D effect. How would you give a 3D effect? Number one, draw a line like this, a slanting line joining this, and again, slanting line. So whichever the extra part is, you just erase that out, right? So we've got kind of a shadow here. So this will be kind of parallel so that it gives a boxy effect. So we've got this outline, if you can see. If you want, I will explain it again because this some of my students have a tough time understanding it. So you made that box L, then make one line, parallel line to this, a parallel line to this. And then with a slanting line, you join it. Okay. And the same slanting line, as in parallel to each other, you draw here and you draw a line here. So you've got a little boxy L. Okay. Now let's take the black sketch pen, draw the outline first. Okay, here you go. And so we've got the same box, but it's like a 3D effect. And then what we do is we take the same sketch pen, you can take a micron, fine, we just make some lines here. Some broken lines. Like this. Right? So you've got this. And draw some broken lines here. So you've got like a wooden effect, okay, which will give a slightly log-like effect. Maybe to even accentuate matters, you can add some nails like this. No? Some holes for the nails. So it gives it a little bit more woody effect. Okay. We can even do, just to make you understand, this is a lot of fun to do. I really enjoy doing my lettering. I'll just show you. I think I might have something that I had done on that. Where is it? I'll just get it and show you. I enjoy doing this one, this particular kind of design. Yeah, here it is. So if you can see, the passion is written like it's a piece of wood with a 3D effect, right? So it's got these lines and it's got these broken lines in the alphabet. It hasn't got those nail marks, but yeah. So this is how it will look, okay? So we can do the same thing with the, say, the M, not the N, but M, okay? Again, we will need to make it nice and bulky and hefty, okay? Big. So like in my measurement, when I take 2 dots, that's how thick it's going to be. So you try and keep it somewhat similar. Again, try and keep it same so that your alphabet. So yeah, this, I need to make it more center. Okay. So you need to make it this thick. Or thick M. And then let's draw this double line here, slanting line, okay? Double line that is parallel to this and slanting line, these two are parallel to each other. Again, so you've got so all these lines have got to be parallel to each other. So how you draw it? You draw the fat M, then you draw these parallel lines, especially on this side, right? So if you have the parallel line here, you'll draw a parallel line here. So for this, you have to understand the shadow part. So say this was what, so supposing you've drawn something like this, how to make it a 3D, you just add a slanting line here and you've made it 3D. Okay, so the same thing, the same concept of a shadow, but then you are joining that shadow. It's not disjointed. It is the same part of the alphabet. And you make it like it's like a block of wood. Okay. And let's draw the outline first. Okay, so you've got first, I'll draw it exactly how I drew it with the pencil. So you first draw the thick M, okay? Then you draw number one, first parallel line, okay? Then the parallel line to this, the parallel line to this. And slanting line joining it. And yes, parallel line here at the bottom. And parallel line joining. Sorry. There you go. Okay, so you've got a bulky M. So again, what we do is we will draw lines like this. Very, very gently. If you do need a slightly finer pen for this. Okay. Okay, so we've got plain and simple with the shadow at the bottom. And to give a wooden effect, maybe first we can draw the two nails. And maybe a couple of nails here, right? And then just draw. Right, so you've got, and then you will have some lines like this. And there you go. You've got the L and the M in a wooden effect. Okay. So we've done till M. Let's come to our N. Now here I'll make it slightly more different again, but not too different. So we are going to be, this is your N. You're going to make the N this thick, not very, very thick, but not as thick as this, but thick. Then we have, so this will have a little serif on both sides. Let's make the serif. Let's bring this down. Okay, so I'm just giving a little curve at the bottom, just random fun. Okay, nothing too crazy, not a very, very weird design, but just random fun. So you put the serif on top, you've given a kind of a cut ribbon effect at the bottom, and we can start our. So you can keep it as complicated or as simple as you like. Depends on your patience level. Yeah. This is slightly longer, so I'll extend this also a little bit longer so that the same level at the bottom. Let's just color it in and color, fill it all in. You can add some dots like we added dots like this. You can add dots on the thicker part also just to make it more decorative. But we've already done the dots, so I didn't want to repeat it. Okay, so we've got this. Now I'm going to add a proper shadow of the line, this line, but a proper, this is just random incomplete thing, but I will add a little bit more defined shadow. So we start from the side, just a line, nothing else. Okay. And then a little bit here. So we have the KLMN done. Okay. The O will be fun because I want to color it up and make some design in it. So I'm going to, so this circle and just inside, I just made it slightly bigger. Just erase extra. You can even make it, let's make it like this, like a bubble. Okay, that would also be fun. So that you know exactly how it, like a 3D thing. So you have this here, you have this here, and okay. So you've made two shines thing, and it only becomes a little visible once you color it in. Sorry, I think my sketch pen is running out of ink. So why I added, see, you've added this on the left-hand side, And hence, even this, the shine. So the light is coming from here. Okay. There's a reason behind you don't add these white parts randomly. So light is coming from here. You have this light, this part being lighted up. In the same way, you'll have the left part of this side being lighted up. Okay. So you have to kind of keep that in mind when you're making the alphabets. So we've done these. Right. I will take out a fresh one. I'll just show you while I look for, in case you're still completing, put it here. Just get a fresh page of my dot paper. Yeah. All right, so here we are done with O, and I will hold this sheet. After that, we come to P. I'm going to make some quick ones because we don't have much time. Simple ones. But for you all, it's going to be a lot of fun because just going through each, I mean, if you enjoyed this class, you might have fun writing, all the ABCs in one particular style. So the dots help because my lines are coming straight. So we start with the P and we keep it simple. And let's make this thin. Then we add a little bulk at the bottom. How thick this bulk is the same thing that will define so this is your P. Not complicated. It's just so you have your P and you have a little box at the bottom. Now the thickness of the box and these will be similar. And I'm just going to add a simple shadow. And the same thing if you're going to be adding for, say, I'll use the same thing and make an R so that you understand how it works with the other alphabets as well. This time I'm giving that 3D effect as in the slanting line. Okay. The shadow will come this side. And the shadow will come at the bottom. Simple. Okay. So all the here will just be an indication of the shadow. Rest, most of the shadow is going to fall on the right hand side. So the same thing, the R, we're going to do it in the same style. Thin. Sorry. So this line is going to be thin with a little box at the bottom. And then we will make this flow just to work, just to have fun. Okay. And then the whatever, like say rabbit. So R would be here and the ABBIT would be just above this. Okay, smaller. So that's how once we start writing the alphabets in the next class, you will understand how we play with it. And try and combine, you know, as we'll work on it, we will try and understand how you plan out a layout. So we've got this. We will make the outline first. Okay, so we've got this now. Just think in your mind, similar shadow. This and this should be same in size. And remember, all the shadow falls on the right hand side. Okay, this one. So we will have right hand side and the bottom. Takes a little practice. Make sure that you put in the practice. And it's important that all the alphabets that you learn, you try and use them in your words, compose words and use these kind of alphabets. It's good fun. And it's a learning thing. Okay, so we've got P and R in the same way. Q, I will make it slightly different. So I'm going to make it slightly more elongated. It's more round right now. So it's going to change it a bit. And the Q, instead of going from the top, I'm just going to make it go from the bottom. Okay. Okay, so this also we will, and I'll make it like a ribbon. Okay, this I will color flat black. Right. I'm just giving some different elements of design. The bottom, if you can see, I've just made it come out. So it's like it's wearing the ribbon at the bottom. So if say you were using the same thing here, so try and keep the ribbon part continuous in all your letters if you're making from the same design. And then I will made 2-3 designs, add a dot, a couple of dots, and your slightly stylish Q is ready. Slightly different from everything else. Q, and then we have an S. Let me see how different I can make the S. Say, supposing we want to make it slightly more funky rather than a normal simple S. You have the shape. Always, always make the skeleton. It's easier to play around with it. So how about we add a little fan shape to the top and the bottom, right? And we add some dots. So first make this shape and then add some dots. It's just playing around with it. And the same thing will happen when I will make the T in the same design, okay? So you'll understand what I'm talking about. So if this was the fanning out, your T would fan out on both sides here. Say we were doing the same design, right? And then we'll have a few round designs in the center. So it's the same family. So it's very easy to play around and, subsequently add the same design to the next alphabet. Okay, it's not that difficult. So in the same way, this would continue. The Q would have the feather, the ribbon shape at the bottom part of all the alphabets. This would have some beads, some fans. Like if it was, say, the T was the same thing, so you would have fans at the end of the W and maybe some beads here in the center. And the X would have fans on both sides, or on all four sides actually. So it's not that difficult to play around and add fun elements to your alphabets. This is something that you can't actually do with your calligraphy. Calligraphy is a little more rule-based. I find lettering so much more freeing and fun because it doesn't, you make the rules, okay? And creativity gets you a long way. So I'm just going to add some lines here. There you go. Same thing here. These are fun, easy designs. Okay, so you have the T in this design. We will keep the others also quite simple. How about we make U a little more easy. Okay. Okay, so my mistake, that line has gone up. So just okay. Maybe add a little circle at the top. See, so much fun. You don't have to really worry. And the same thing will happen here. One little circle. Simple lines. Circle here. If you like, you can add a shadow. It's not necessary that you have to add a shadow to all your alphabets. But if you feel like, you can add a shadow, right? It just makes it more fun. And the W part we come to. So how about we keep it a little bit more thin and thin and thin and thin. Here we add the same boxy element, right? So this would be called that we are making it with a serif. Okay, and how about we just color this up, the top part, this one, and then add a simple dot design. So why I'm not making it too complicated, you can make it as complicated or as simple, but this is, this is something that even the children will enjoy, and they can, it's not too complicated for them, too confusing for them. Just keep adding different elements that you can, enjoy with it. Here, I'll keep it again, very simple. This would be X like this with a serif, single line, okay? And similar lines, or we can go zigzag. To make it more fun, you can color one side. See, just slightly more funky. Okay. And we will do the Z, the Z also in the same manner. We'll just change it slightly. Maybe give this here. Make it slightly more thick. Similar design, right? And maybe add a little dot here. Just enjoy yourself. Okay, X and Z. They're similar designs, but with a slight difference. Okay. And Y, I'm just going to go you can make it boxy, but I'm just trying to make it slightly more simple. Something on the same lines as the J. Okay. And also to make it more fun, yeah. So say you make this part rather than like, see, we made the J here, right? With the plain thing. What you can do is add a flower at the end. And, right? It looks like a tulip, like a flower. So you can even color it this side. This one side is thick. And there you go. So we've made, I will zoom out so that you can see the whole thing. And yeah, so we've made here A, B, C, D, and there you go. We've made all the way till Z, right? And in all different styles. And you can compose words. We don't compose words. What I would suggest, in case before you do any other class of mine, where we do the next class where we'll do a whole lettering, compose. I'll just show you what we're going to be doing. Something on the lines of this, something simple, with a little bit of lettering, different designs, different decorative elements. But before that, try and whichever alphabet or whichever style you like, make at least 4 or 5 of them, like A to J in the same style, or just about 5 of them in the same style, so that you understand the whole concept of working, adding design elements, and to suit yourself. To You can also, what you can do is you can work with maybe one capital letter and a couple of small letters, just to understand how they mesh together and how you can incorporate the same design in small letters, right? So this is what our lesson was today. I hope you enjoyed it. And I'm looking forward to teaching you all something fun in the next class.